Today I'm going to show you what to look for before bringing a meat breeding rabbit home. Paul here at Broken Arrow Farm. I've been raising meat rabbits for about a combined time of 30 years. Now, today I'm going to point out a few things that you should look for when selecting your meat rabbit breeding stock. So you want to start with the best of the best, obviously, because if you start with something mediocre, you're not going to get better, probably only going to maintain that or get a little bit worse in your herd. So something I want to point out right off the bat, if the breeder suggests that you meet somewhere other than at the rabbit farm or at the rabbit barn, don't feel offended. This could be for biosecurity reasons. Lots of different rabbit diseases out there, and some people like to maintain a closed herd. So I'll meet people in town, in different parking lots, stuff like that. Throw in a variety of rabbits so that the buyer can actually go through and pick out their own rabbits, because I'll go through, pick out some that I think are going to be the best of the best at that time. Let the buyer go through and evaluate and pick out the ones that they want. So something else is that hopefully the buyer will let you go through a few different choices of rabbits, kind of pick through those a little bit, and you can make your own decision. And today I'm going to talk to you about what you should be looking for when you're evaluating those rabbits before you bring them home. Today we're starting with a chocolate Rex buck right here. Something you might want to throw in is just a little scrap of carpet or a rug or a towel, and maybe even a little table like this, or maybe you've got a back of a pickup you can set that on, or a hatch in the back of an SUV you can open up and set them in the back of that and evaluate those rabbits, but just somewhere to be able to take a good look at these rabbits and evaluate them. All right, so you just want to kind of start by looking for any of the obvious. Are there any bald spots on the rabbit which could indicate lice or rubbing, anything like that? Any wounds, any appendages sticking out indicating a broken leg or anything like that? So just kind of run your hands over that rabbit, feeling to make sure there's no broken bones, anything like that. The spine feels straight and there's no broken legs, which the rabbit would be very sensitive if you went to touch him and there was anything broken. So just kind of a quick evaluation of the rabbit at first seeing that rabbit. Now you're going to want to go ahead next and look inside of the ears right here, inside the rabbit ears. So look for something dark colored, maybe a little bit waxy, maybe a little bit flaky, something like that, because that could indicate rabbit ear mites. So are rabbit ear mites the end of the world? They are not. They are treatable, but more than likely if a rabbit you have or are looking to bring home has ear mites and you bring that rabbit home to your herd, it's going to give all the other rabbits or most of the other rabbits in your rabbit barn ear mites. I have been there. I have done that. Not a fun time, but they are curable and you can cure them, but I would recommend not bringing a rabbit home that has rabbit ear mites. So pull the rabbit's ears back, look for any balding spots behind the ears, which could indicate lice, something like that, which you definitely don't want to bring that home to your herd either. Check the overall fur condition of this rabbit. Depending on what breed it is, you should do a little research ahead of time and figure out what that fur is supposed to be like. This here is a Rex rabbit right here, so very dense, very plush fur. Everything looks and feels good here. So something else is just feeling that spine. Are those ribs sticking out, or is it in good overall health? Something else you might want to do is throw in a scale and weigh that rabbit, and going by the American Rabbit Breeders Standard of Association standards, you can kind of look in that book and figure out what weights these rabbits should be at, or I think that's also available online. So something else, make sure they're in the same weight range for the age group that you're purchasing right there. So the next thing you want to check are the eyes. Are they nice and clear? They're not watery. There's not mucus or gunk or anything like that in those eyes. Go ahead and check those out. Sometimes, you know, they'll get some fur in there and they might be a little bit watery, but just give an overall evaluation of those eyes. Nice and clear eyes, and depending on the season, the rabbit you're looking at might be shedding. This one is shedding right now, so it's kind of a mess. But next thing you want to check is the nose. Is the nose dry? Is it clear of any mucus? Now there might be a little bit of a moistness to that nose, which is perfectly normal, but if there's some white gunk coming out or some yellow gunk coming out, or it's just constantly running, that is not a healthy rabbit. That could indicate several underlying health issues right there. And then something else to look at is the front paws right here. So if that rabbit's been sneezing a lot and has snuffles, it'll be using those paws to rub its nose, and also an indicator that you don't want to bring that rabbit home. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and flip this rabbit over and take a look of the underside of the rabbit. All right, so go ahead and flip that rabbit over right here like this. And you want to check that nose again, just make sure it's okay. Make sure the front 4 teeth are okay. They're not crooked or overgrown or anything like that, and that they're all there. In this case, they are. Go ahead and check the toenails, make sure they're the color that you want them to be. This guy's toenails are getting to be a little bit long. I'm not going to argue that. So check all the toenails. Check for sore hocks on the back of the feet right here. Right here. So Rex are sometimes prone to sore hocks. Yes, he does have a cage mat, but they just have, I guess, thinner fur than some other rabbits, and they can get sore hocks. These aren't bleeding. They're just the fur's wore down a little bit like that. So not a big deal there, but just keep a lookout for that. Go ahead and run your hand all the way down the abdomen, stretching those legs out, making sure there's no breaks or anything like that in the legs. And then you're going to want to go ahead and sex the rabbit. Right there, 2 testicles indicating that that's a buck. And then right there, indicating that that is a buck rabbit. So right there, this buck has passed the preliminary examination right there, and if I were going to purchase a rabbit, and this is the one I was looking at, I wouldn't have any problems doing so. I'm going to go and grab a doe rabbit right now, and I'll run you through what we look for in a doe rabbit. All right, so this right here is a doe Rex rabbit. She is a broken tri-colored Rex rabbit. So this is a doe. She does currently have a litter on her, so currently a nursing doe right here. So something that's different than on a doe. Oh, she just peed on the table. So something that's different than a doe than a buck is the dewlap they have underneath their chin right here. So right here is the dewlap right here, and they'll use this to pull off fur to help make a nest for their baby. So check for any lumps and bumps on that dewlap. And then you're going to look at everything else just like you did with the buck. Checking her over, checking the eyes, checking the ears, checking the body. Something I forgot to mention with the buck is you want to set him up in a nice show rabbit pose just to see how that body's going to look. She's not really cooperating here, but just kind of set her up like you would on the show table if you are going to show them. If you're not, it still never hurts to take a good look at them, how they're supposed to be set up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flip her over and take a look at a couple of different things on this doe. All right, so if she has had a litter before, just go ahead and check those teats under there. Make sure there's no lumps and bumps, which could indicate any type of mastitis. And then go ahead and vent sex and make sure that you are indeed getting a doe rabbit right here.